UFC 329 is this weekend. Holloway McGregor is finally here, all right? It's fight week, all right? So I'm going to assume that McGregor will be stepping into the octagon come this weekend, and I am excited. I am hyped. This is the first McGregor card I've ever been able to witness, okay? So let's start off, right? I'm going to go over the whole entire card, main event to the early prelims. Let's start off with the starting fight. Alessandro Costa versus Cody Durden. This is short notice for Alessandro Costa, but it's Cody Durden. All right. 16-5 to 18-10-1. That is an insane record. Not a good insane. 5-4 to 5-7. 5-4 is insane. All right. Dude's the size of Wolverine. 67-inch reach to a 67-inch reach and a 36-inch leg reach to a 37.5-inch leg reach. I'm going to go with Alessandro Costa. I think he's got power. I think he's got the grappling to kind of counteract Cody Durden. He's been training with Diego Lopez and Alexo Grasso. By the way, did Lopez and Grasso break up? I don't know, dude. I'm worried for Diego Lopez. You saw what happened when Taporia got divorced. I'm scared. I don't know. Anyways. Little rant right there. I'm going to go with Alessandro Costa. I think he's got the power. I think he's got these nasty body shots that keep him good for underhooks. And Cody Durden, I think round one he's going to be pretty good. He's going to put the pace, put the pressure on Alessandro Costa, keep him maybe on the back foot, just trying to keep him not comfortable. Don't let him set his feet. But I think he's going to slowly wear down. He's getting pretty old. And then Cody Durden's going to get hit with something big in round two, drop down. I think we're going to get a round two finish for Alessandro Costa. Cody Durden normally gets submitted in round two, but I'm going to say a round two submission. I think Alessandro's going to hit him with something big. Cody Durden's going to be too spent trying to keep Alessandro Costa on the back foot, too spent doing all these takedowns to try and keep Alessandro Costa away from landing that big shot, but he'll land it in the second round, hurt him badly, and he'll submit him. Maybe Cody Durden will shoot in a sloppy takedown, and he'll get submitted like a guillotine or a darce or something like that. I'm going to go with a round two submission for Alessandro Costa. Give me a guillotine. You know, flyweights, they're tiny, small. Guillotines work with flyweights. Let's say a flyweight guillotine in round two. All right, moving on. We have the main man, Zachary Reese. Now, if you know, I hate Zachary Reese. I picked him to beat Michel Pereira. He lost because he was being an idiot. He just didn't do enough. So Ryan Gandra versus Zachary Reese, 9-1 to 10-3-1, 6 foot to 6'4", 74.5-inch reach to a 77-inch reach, and a 39.5-inch leg reach to a 45-inch leg reach. I'm going with Ryan Gandra. He now, of course, he's coming off the sacrificial lamb that was Jose Medina, is who he KO'd in the first, but Zachary Reese sucks, you know. He lost to Cody Brundage, got rampage bombed by Cody Brundage, lost to Michel Pereira, which, by the way, him and Sharapudin Magomedov did about the same against Michel Pereira. If you just want to think about it that way, Zachary Reese is on the same level as Sharapudin Magomedov. I'm just saying, Sharp Bullet, not that good, dude. Hindsight. I am going to go with Ryan Gandra, though. I think he's got some power. He's got some pop. Zachary Reese's fabled body kick of doom, his body kick of doom and despair, is not going to really work. I think Gandra's going to close in, heavy hooks, heavy hands, because Zachary Reese, whenever he's doing something, he focuses on that one thing only. So when he's doing his body kick, he's doing that body kick, and his hands are low, his chin's up high in the air. He's very tall. I think Ryan Gandra's going to catch him something big with an overhand or something like that, and I think he's going to get caught, dude. I just think he's going to get caught. I don't see Zachary Reese being able to survive, because Michel Pereira was dropping him a whole bunch. I want to say 3 knockdowns is how many times Michel Pereira knocked down Zachary Reese, if I'm just going off of memory. Knocked him down 3 times, and I can't even remember what Zachary Reese landed on Michel Pereira. I think he landed close to nothing, and they still just made it a split decision. I think it was in Texas, so that's probably why they made it so close. But Zachary Reese just looks so awful. He looks so awful. I'm going to go with a Ryan Gandra round 1 KO. Again, Zachary Reese is very slow as well. Very, very slow. I think he's going to load up on something very, very telegraphed, very obvious. He's going to get hit with something big. And it's going to be a Ryan Gandra round 1 KO. Sorry, I was fixing the camera. A Ryan Gandra round 1 KO. All right, I'm going with that. Moving up, Farid Basharat versus John Garza. Poor kid. Poor kid. Now, of course, this was supposed to be the legendary fight. Our battle will be legendary. Of Farid Basharat, Ethan Ewing. Ethan Ewing unfortunately got injured and he pulled out. Basically ruined this whole card. We should honestly reschedule this card just for Ethan Ewing to still be on it. But unfortunately, that's not going to happen. Now, John Garza, he's just not going to win. He's not going to win. Let me read. He's 6-1. His last couple opponents are 1-1, 3-1, 4-1, 3-1, and 8-4. Decent. He's 23 years old, 5'8", 15-0 to 6-1, 5'8", 5'8", 71-inch reach to a 0-inch reach. Devastating reach disadvantage for him. No, he actually has, I have no clue either. Tapology doesn't say, so we don't know. I'm going to go with Farid Basharat. He's just very good. Honestly, he had a chance to beat Ethan Ewing. I would have picked Ethan Ewing to beat Farid Basharat just because of how close Basharat leaves some decisions. I think he'll actually get a finish. I think he'll probably get a submission, like a late rounds, maybe early round submission, actually. Let's go with a round 2 submission for Farid Basharat. If he doesn't get a submission, or if he doesn't get a finish, I'll be very disappointed in him. And if he doesn't get a finish, I'll definitely think Ethan Ewing would have beaten him, is all I'm going to say. Farid Basharat, coming off that close win over Gene Matsumoto, I thought he won it, but a lot of people thought he didn't. He has some decent wins, submission over Kletson Rodriguez, 2 years ago. He doesn't fight too often. He's getting a little bit more active. He's became more active in the recent years, so maybe this will help him, and finally he'll get another finish. I'm going to go with a round 2 submission for Farid Basharat. I think he'll get the back, take him down, get the back, rear naked choke in round 2 for Farid Basharat. All right, moving on. Damian Pinas versus Cesar Almeida. Now, I am going against the grain. All right, Cesar Almeida is not really 7-2. I think he's like a kickboxer or something. Is he 7-2 really? He is 7-2, huh? That scares me. Damian Pinas 9-1. Coming off the Contender Series, he just beat Wes Schultz by KO. Wes Schultz looks like a hippie. Beat Victor Costa by KO. Let me just say this. Damian Pinas is not the guy you think he is, pal. He's not. He is good. He looks good. But Cesar Almeida went to a close split decision with Roman Kopylov. Split decision loss to Roman Kopylov. Do I think Damian Pinas would do the same thing? I'm not sure. Roman Kopylov is very dangerous, very good. And Cesar Almeida took him to a split decision early doors. Like one of his first couple UFC fights, he took him to a split decision. Maybe I'm just crazy. I'm picking the underdog. What is he, a plus 180? I don't think anyone else I've picked as the underdog. Everyone else is the favorite. My first underdog of the card. I'm going with Cesar Almeida by decision. I think Damian Pinas is coming off that the high that is the Contender Series knockout. I think that's dangerous. A lot of these new guys coming off the Contender Series get highlight reel KOs, and they think they're going to be something. And then he walks in and KOs Wes Schultz. I could KO Wes Schultz, all right? I think I could probably KO him in my sleep. That's not me being disrespectful. That's just me being realistic. I could possibly KO Wes Schultz in my sleep. If not, maybe even submit him in my sleep. I'm not sure. And that's not me being cocky. I'm talking about me flatline KO'd. I could still probably KO Wes Schultz. I don't know. I don't know how he's in the UFC, but he just is. Damian Pinas KO'd him. But Cesar Almeida, who's a little bit lanky, 9-0 to 7-2, both 6'1". Damian Pinas has the reach advantage by 5.5 inches, which is crazy. It's 9.5 to 74. He has the leg reach disadvantage, though, 40.5 to 43.5 or 43 inches. I don't know. I just think Damian Pinas is dangerous early rounds, but he's never gone to round 3. And I will say he's really 10-0. If you look at Damian Pinas' record, he's 10-0. He got DQ'd with an illegal kick, so he's really 10-0. Hasn't really lost. I think it was like a soccer kick, if I remember correctly. Got KO or got DQ'd because of that. Actually, let me see. Can I see? No, I can't. But I just think Cesar Almeida is going to be in there. He's going to stand strong. He's not going to let Damian Pinas really have what he wants early. I think he'll make him work for it. And once round 2 and 3 happen, I think Damian Pinas is in unknown waters in the later half of round 2 and round 3. I think Cesar Almeida is going to start taking away and just win this off of points. I think he's going to be very, very calm, very calculated, and make this a boring fight. Honestly, this may be low kicks at range. This may be, just Cesar Almeida staying on the back foot, being on the back pedal a lot, just making things boring on the outside. But I think he can do that. I think he can survive what Damian Pinas has because he is really a sniper. with that reach, Damian Pinas is gonna be a sniper. He's gonna be long. He's gonna be lanky. No Jones, no Jones. He's gonna be long and lanky, and he is explosive. You know, I just don't think he can get that on Cesar Almeida, who, like I said, survived Roman. Now, I know Roman Kopylov's not like a guy you have to survive. This dude's got nuke in his hands, but Roman Kopylov can still put you away. He's got some pop. He's got some power. He eats a sweet peas, all right? He's got the sweet pea special, you know? In the Cesar Olazechek fight that Cesar Almeida lost his last fight, it was because he was getting held down. He basically got grappled to death. Very boring fight. Damian Pinas does not have that kind of ability like a Cesar Olazechek has, who is very experienced. He was like 22-3 or something. Crazy record that he has. Damian Pinas does not. He's going to be out there striking. I think Cesar Almeida can kind of Olay Pinas around. Dude, what a crazy last name, dude. You gotta change that, man. He's gonna Olay him around, get him spent, soften him up, and then once he's soft, dude, he's gonna hit him with something big. I think he's just, like I said, he's gonna win on points. He's gonna point fight. Just kind of, like I said, stay on the outside, not let Pinas get what he wants, and kind of annoy him. I could see him annoying Damian Pinas, who's kind of been a guy who gets what he wants. Maybe the first sign of resistance, he may not like it, you know. So I'm gonna go with Cesar Almeida by decision. All right, big underdog pick for me. Not big, you know. He's only a plus 180. I just don't see, like, I think, you know, they're both. He has more fights than Cesar Almeida, but Cesar Almeida's gone the distance. He's gone against better competition. I'm gonna choose Cesar Almeida. All right, Tracy Cortez, Wang Cong. I will say Tracy Cortez, if she had power, maybe, because Wang Cong is hittable. And if she's hittable and you got power, you'll get, by the way, Wang Cong's loss against Gabriela Fernandez is not aging too well. 12-3 to 9-1, 5-5 to 5-6. Both have the same reach at 65.5 inches. And same, Tracy Cortez has a longer leg reach for 38.5 inch leg reach compared to Wang Kong's 36.5 inch leg reach. I'm just gonna have to go with Wang Cong. I think she's slicker on the feet. I don't think Cortez has a crazy grappling game that she can implement that'll get her gone. And again, Wang Kong's only loss is because she got caught. She was dominating Gabriela Fernandez. Now she doesn't have power. That's the thing. Casey O'Neill puts out Gabriela Fernandez in round 1. Wang Cong has to slowly whittle her down, you know. And Tracy Cortez coming off that loss to Aaron Blanchfield got toppled over, submitted. I think it was like a Kimura or something crazy. Maybe it was a rear naked choke. Probably rear naked choke. Women don't really go for Kimura. They don't have the strength. I think Wang Cong can kind of keep it on the feet. You know, Cortez doesn't really have that crazy wrestling to get it down. She's got decent grappling. Again, not the best, but enough to kind of keep up with some people. But she lost to Rose Namajunas not too long ago. Namajunas. Rose. I'm just going to call her Rose. The bald lady. The bald 12-year-old that's in the women's division. She lost to her. I think Wang Cong can do the same, just be flicky with kicks at range. Her low kicks are very good for WMA. She may even start hurting Cortez with some crazy low kicks. She has massive thighs, Cortez does, so maybe that'll... Again, it's been proven, the bigger the thighs, the more debilitating these thigh kicks are. So I could see Wang Cong hitting her with some leg kicks, some thigh kicks, and getting her, you know, weakened up, and maybe she'll whip up some head kicks every now and then. I'm just gonna go with a Wang Cong decision. Again, these women don't have too much finishing potential, so it's hard to bet on a finish unless it is like a submission. A KO in any woman's division is very hard to tell unless you're a man in Amanda Nunes. But yeah, I'm gonna go with Wang Cong by decision. Wang Cong by decision is pretty good. Moving up to the prelims, Luke Riley versus Kai Kamaka III. Now this is tough because Kai Kamaka III is actually pretty decent. He was in the UFC for a bit, got kicked out. Now he's back. Had a split decision with Dakota Hope, who, by the way, I called that to the T. I even said it'd be a split decision. Watch that prediction video back. I said it would be a split decision. I even called what rounds Kai Kamaka would win. Second and third, because Dakota Hope's going to go out there and be explosive and waste all of his energy. Now, this is tough, because Luke Riley is a very good boxer. He just leaves his chin up, leaving the pocket. Hands are low, leaving the pocket. And he can get cracked back. I just don't think Kai Kamaka's the guy to punish that. He has no power. That's the thing. Kai Kamaka, I think, has 3 KOs in his total MMA career. So of course we have 13-0 Luke Riley to 18-7-1. 5'9" to 5'7", 69-inch reach to a 69-inch reach, and a 40-inch leg reach to a 38-inch leg reach. Again, Luke Riley, mainly a boxer. He does implement some leg kicks and body kicks every now and then, not too much, not a main part of his game. But he is going to be mainly boxing with Kai Kamaka. And Kai Kamaka's got decent boxing. He's got decent kicks. Maybe he'll want to stay on the outside and just kick Luke Riley to death. I don't see it happening. I really don't. I think Luke Riley's very good at entering the pocket, hitting some good combinations. It's just on the exit is where he'll leave a hand low and get clipped. Again, he's a scouser, so they don't get knocked out. He's with Paddy Pimblett, actually, so this is pretty good. This is pretty good card matchmaking by the UFC. Again, maybe Luke Riley can KO Kai Kamaka. I think Kai Kamaka, he has been KO'd recently. I think like 3 fights ago he got KO'd, if I remember correctly. Let's see. He did. No, he lost a split decision to Diego Brandao. But Diego Brandau's very, very good. Very, very good. Again, he could win this. I just think Luke Riley has the power advantage. Him not knocking out Michael Aswell Jr. and having not the I don't think it was a split decision worthy, but having a decently competitive fight with Luke Aswell Jr. is a little disappointing, is a little scary. But I do think that was just Luke Riley was going for the KO and he just couldn't get it. I think this time he's going to be a little bit smarter, just be solid combinations to the body. Maybe he'll work the body a little bit more since he's learning he can't knock these guys out to the head. Maybe he'll just start working to the body, get something done. Oh, crud. See, look. See, I'm blue now, but if I do this, see if I do this, dude, that's a yellow photo on my phone that I've just zoomed in. Is that better? I don't know. I feel like it's better. I feel like it's better. Sorry. There we go. Again, Kai Kamaka the third, I think he's decent. I think he has some potential to win this. What's the odds actually? -2. That's crazy odds. I think this should be closer. I think Luke Riley should be like +150 maybe. Kai Kamaka's like -100, -150. Or sorry, reverse that. Luke Riley should be -150, 100. And then Kai Kamaka's play like +100, +150. Because this is a pretty close fight. Kai Kamaka, I could just see being a veteran presence, staying at range, low kicking, and then having a good counter when Luke Riley enters the pocket. I just don't think so. I think Luke Riley, with the power advantage, is going to get the bigger oohs and ah moments in this fight. And I think he'll win rounds 1 and 2. Round 3 may be a little hairy. I think Kai Kamaka could probably win the third. But I think Luke Riley will win this via rounds 1 and 2. A decision for Luke Riley. All right, let's move up to Cody Garbrandt versus Adrian Yanez. Now, this fight is sick. This is a sick fight, all right? This is a boxer's dream, and by the look of it, dude, man, both these guys don't look in the best shape. I don't know, dude. I don't know. 15-7 to 17-6-1. 5'8" to 5'7". Crazy this guy used to be a flyweight, or at least tried a couple fights at flyweight. 65.5-inch reach to a 70-inch reach. 38-inch leg reach to a 38-inch leg reach. I'm going to go with Adrian Yanez. That Ricky Simone fight was not a draw. It was not a draw. He did win. He did beat Ricky Simone. Crazy. And he looked amazing. He did look very, very good. Good combinations, good power. Basically KO'd him at the very end. I just don't think Cody Garbrandt, he's already has that chinny allegation, I guess, the chinny allegation of Cody Garbrandt. He hasn't been chinned in a while. I think this is a perfect chinning for Cody Garbrandt. He's getting older. He's getting nutshot. He's getting nutshotted. He didn't win his last fight. The Long Zhao, I think, was the last fight where he got nutshotted. He didn't really win it. I think they gave it out to him out of pity. Adrian Yanez, though, is nasty with his boxing. And maybe he'll get outboxed by Garbrandt. He'll get speed diff, dude. Just speed diff. I don't think so. I think, Garbrandt's out of his prime. He's what's the way to say worsening? Not improving. He's getting worse. I don't know. There's a fancy way to say it. Declining. He's declining. And Adrian Yanez, he looked probably the best he's ever looked in a while. in a while, that was the best he ever looked against Ricky Simone. I think Ricky Simone would probably bomb out Cody Garbrandt. Big, meaty overhand right. He'd bomb him out, and he was getting pieced up by Adrian Yanez after that first round where it was kind of close. And then round 2 and 3, he just picked it up. I think Adrian Yanez is going to get a KO in round 2. I think round 1's going to be a little close. Garbrandt may have some Garbrandt speed in round 1, kind of popping up at range, maybe staying on the outside, doing some moves. But rounds 2 and 3, I think round 2, honestly, is all it's going to take for Yanez to hit something big, hit him with like a counter, and knock out Cody Garbrandt in the second. All right, I think it's going to be nasty. I think Adrian Yanez is finally going to be back on track to be somewhat of a prospect in the bantamweight division. Maybe not, but I think this is a pretty good, after the Ricky Simone, like, draw. I think this is a UFC kind of being like, you didn't really lose that, so we're going to give you this. Try and make it right. Here's a free win. Not a free win, but here's a good win that could be on your record, maybe. Maybe that's the better way to say it. Sorry if I was killing your ears. I may have been a little too loud with my microphone. Moving up, Gable Stevenson. I hate Steve. Just add an N, Stevenson. Add that. Stevenson? Dude, what are we doing? Dude, I hate this guy already just from his last name. Just from his loophole antics. Uh-oh, don't search that up. I've already done a video over that. One of my earlier videos, I talked about Gable Stevenson. His escapades. Him and McGregor have a lot in common. I said this earlier, but him and McGregor are best buds. They may get KO'd the same. So Gable Stevenson versus Alicia Ellison. Stevenson is 3-0 against Ellison's 5-2. Stevenson is, that's crazy how he is a hyped up heavyweight and they just have nothing for him. Stevenson is 26. He's 6'1" to Ellison's 6 foot. No reach. I don't have a reach. He weighed in last at 250 pounds. So a little bit chunkier, but he's a little bit, he's a little bit taller too, huh? Don't have either of these. Alicia Ellison just got KO'd by Brando Pericic, and he's been grappled and taken down and beaten up from there. I think Stevenson's going to do the same. I'm just going to call him Gable, dude. Gay Gable. No, I'm just joking. Gay isn't happy, by the way. I was not using it derogatorily, okay? Please do not fire me, my place of employment. Gable's just not... He's not impressed me, dude. I don't know where people are seeing this. He's gotten wheel kick hit. He's been hit with a wheel kick, a spinning wheel kick on the regional scene by just a fat bum. Hit him with a wheel kick, wobbled him. He ends up winning it, but still he gets hit. Alicia Ellison, he's got a woman's first name, so he probably has no power to him. If I'm being honest, if your first name's Alicia, I don't think you have KO power. That's just, I don't know what about that. I just don't think you have KO power. I think Gable Stevenson, gold medalist. I think he's going to take Alicia down. That's so crazy to say. Maybe he would take a woman down with no consent. I don't know. That's allegedly, by the way. Allegedly. But I think you take him down. He's going to ground and pound him. Get a round 1 finish. I don't think there's too much to this. What is he? A minus 2,500 favorite is crazy because this is heavyweight. Again, Alicia, woman's name, doesn't probably have KO power. Could still win this. Maybe if he just works on some takedown defense, drags this into rounds 2 and 3, you never know. But, Stevenson, he's all KOs from KOs and back mount. I think he'll be able to get this down. And get just a grappling clinic. He could submit him. I think he'll probably go for the KO. Normally in this first fight, you can kind of tell these type of guys, they're going to go for the KO. It just looks better on your record. It looks better for a highlight reel. He's going to take him down, get back mount, KO him from the back mount. Probably on under 2 minutes, under 3-minute finish. Would not be surprised. Maybe he'll throw something crazy, try and test it out on the feet, just to see if he could KO him on the feet, and then if not, he'll just take him down. I have Gable Stevenson winning this by round 1 KO. All right. Let's not spend too much time on this guy. All right. Moving up. Nikita Krylov, Robert the Weepa Whitaker. Okay. Wait a minute. Is there something going on here? Is there something going on here that I'm not noticing? So that's Nikita Krylov, and this is Robert. I've had this confused my whole life, dude. That's Robert Whitaker. I forgot what he looked like, dude. Okay. $1 billion company, and we're having this wrong. Of course, Robert Whitaker is from Russia. Or sorry, Nikita Krylov's actually from Russia. So yeah, this is all right. I'm gonna assume that these are the stats for Whitaker because Whitaker's 6 foot, which by the way, probably not even 6 foot if we're being honest. 5'11's being generous. So yeah, let's go over this. All right. Nikita Krylov is actually 27-9. No, okay. We're gonna just ignore the names. We're gonna scroll down here. Okay, make it look better. Whitaker's 27-9 to 31-11, 6 foot to 6'3", 73.5 inch reach to 75.5 inch reach, and a 43-inch leg reach to a 44.5 inch leg reach. I am gonna go with Nikita Krylov. I know, I'm crazy, dude. 2 underdogs? I'm not done, dude. I'm not done picking underdogs. Now, Whitaker is the favorite somehow, minus 145 favorite, so I guess his odds are right here. How do you mess it up this bad, dude? Like, how is this possible? UFC, what are we doing? Maybe if I open it. Nope, still does it. Great. Okay, cool, great, amazing. I'm gonna go with Nikita Krylov. I think Whitaker, he's very technical, very good. Sorry. Crud. My lights. There we go. I think Whitaker's very good, very technical, but his last couple performances, dude, the Chimaev submission loss, not that bad. His jaw broke in, fluked. He fluked it, got fluked. But the Rainer to Ritter loss, dude. Not the best look. Not the best look to lose to Rainer de Ritter. I know it was split decision, and de Ritter cheated to stay alive. And I'd say Nikita Krylov's more chinny. But what's worse? He got KO'd by Bogdan Guskov and Dominic Reyes recently back to back. But Reyes and Guskov kind of banged, dude. They kind of got power. Am I to hate a man who gets KO'd by the Dominator, Dominic Reyes, and Santa Slavaclaus? No, the Hitman, Bogdan Guskov? Am I? I don't know. I think Nikita Krylov, who's going to be way too tall for Whitaker. You saw it against Adesanya. It's kind of hard to hit. He has to do his looping overhands. He has to do head kicks. I think it's just going to be too much for Whitaker. I don't know if he's put on the right weight. Maybe he'll just be too quick for Krylov. I could see him blitzing in and just hitting Krylov too quick, and Krylov goes down and he gets that finish. I'd see an early finish for Whitaker. That's the only way I see it. He could maybe drag him into deep waters. I don't see it though. Krylov's had gone against some of the best people. He's gone to a decision, arguably beat Ankalaev. He is very, very good. He runs in like a CTE riddled person against Dominic Reyes, gets KO'd on the counter from Bogdan Guskov. Whitaker does not have the same options as those guys. Even if Krylov does run in and gets countered by Whitaker, I don't think he's getting put away the same way Reyes put him out. I just don't think Whitaker's had that KO power he doesn't have that KO power at welterweight or at middleweight. He's not going to have that KO power at light heavyweight. I think he should have moved down if anything else. But even then, I don't know. He was a small middleweight. He's going to be an even smaller light heavyweight. I think kicks, keeping him at range. Krylov has some decent kicks, some push kicks. I think later rounds he's actually going to finish Whitaker. I think late rounds Whitaker's going to get sloppy. He's going to see that he's behind on the cards, try and go in and get a finish. I think Krylov's going to hit him with something big and put him away in the third. This is sad, I know. But I'm going with the underdog. I think Krylov's just too much for Whitaker to handle. I don't like this. I know, like I said, maybe Krylov's just super chinny. He could be. And the first blitz that Whitaker does gets him out. But if Whitaker doesn't put him away in round one, it's going to be a bad night for Whitaker, I feel like. I feel like it's going to be a bad night because Krylov's going to pick apart at him. Again, this is assuming that Krylov doesn't use a CTE-based game plan. If he doesn't run in like an idiot, then I'm sure Krylov can just pick it apart at him, use his range, use his reach, and knock him out in the third. I'm sorry. I just think that Rainer de Ritter fight that he lost to Rainer de Ritter, dude. I know the knees to the body were working very well for de Ritter, and de Ritter's so tall, and at some point he got clipped. But Ritter's kind of like a lanky, ganky grappler guy his striking's really just in the clinch, and he got caught at range. Trying to get into the clinch, he got caught at range, got caught coming in, gets dropped pretty badly. I just don't think Krylov's gonna do the same thing. I think he's a little bit better at striking. I think he's a little bit better at range. He has that grappling background if he needs it. I don't think he may even use it. I could see Krylov shooting a couple takedowns. If Whitaker is getting too much pressure, if Whitaker's blitzing in too much, drop levels, have Whitaker run into you, get that double leg. I'm just saying, I think Krylov just has so many ways to win this, and Whitaker just has to blitz in and hit him on his chin. And Krylov does fight standing up pretty tall. He fights pretty tall, and normally that's pretty bad for him. A pullback counter from Reyes is going to hit him hard. That counter from Bogdan Guskov or whatever got hit, or who I forgot how Guskov hit him, but he hit him with something nasty because he was standing up straight and he couldn't really pull back or move. For this, it's going to be pretty good for him because Whitaker has to get up to him. You know, I don't see Krylov getting down to Whitaker's level and saying, "Here's my chin, pal." I don't see a head kick making it. How's a head kick going to get all the way up there, dude? You're telling me he's going to head kick higher than his head than his own than he's going to head kick taller than how he is? There's probably a better way to say that, but you know what I'm saying. He's going to have to head kick somebody that's taller than him. How is that possible? Maybe. Maybe with his 1-2 lead side head kick, he could be able to get it because it's a lot of lean in that lead side head kick. But still, the lead side head kick, you don't have too much power. That's the whole point, is that you sacrifice that power for some good speed and that range. So I don't know. I really don't know. I'm going to choose Nikita Krylov by round 3 KO. Okay, I'm sorry. Moving up to the main card. Bobbert Green versus Terrence McKinney. Okay. 35-17-1 to 18-8. 5'10 to 5'10. 71-inch reach to a 73.5-inch reach. Whoop, whoop, whoop. 40-inch leg reach to a 40-inch leg reach. Now, if you have not seen, Bobby Green has some sick custom shorts. Sick custom shorts. They're black. They're, I don't know what they are, if I'm being honest. Are they gang stuff? I don't know. I saw something online that they're gang stuff. That's not me being racist. That's just what I've heard online. Okay, that's what I've heard online. I don't know. Don't quote me on that. Don't quote me on that. That's just what I've been reading online. Okay? So that's not racist. Okay, let's get just one last thing. That wasn't racist. Okay? We're just making sure we know that. Anyways, Bobbert Green, Terrence McKinney. It's a Terrence McKinney slime out. You know the drill. You know the drill, dude. Bobbert Green's been winning a lot, dude. He's been winning quite a bit. Terrence McKinney, he lost 2 fights in a row, and now he's on a bit of a win streak. You know what time it is. Bobbert Green, your time has come. Your time has come, Bobbert Green. Round 1 knockout. Round 1 knockout. I mean, it's just going to happen. It's just going to happen. A round 1 knockout is due. It's due, you know. Terrence McKinney, very quick, very fast, and I think King Green, Bobbert Green, you know, very good head movement, has some grappling if he needs to, but who has he been beating these last 3 fights that's put him on a win streak? Daniel Zellhuber, Lance Gibson Jr., Jeremy Stephens. I know I picked Jeremy Stephens, and I picked Daniel Zellhuber, and I picked Lance Gibson Jr. to all win against Bobby Green, and they all failed. Man, I suck at picking Bobby Green's fights. But those guys are bums. Terrence McKinney is at least pretty high level. You know, his Kyle Nelson KO that he's coming off of isn't the best in terms of skill, in terms of competition. But still, you know, he had Chris Duncan in a lot of trouble round 1. Finished for SCM pretty easily. I think Terrence McKinney can take this anywhere. He could take Bobby Green down if he wants. I think he's going to hurt Bobby Green. Bobby Green's going to be too much leaning, too much head movement. He's going to get caught with the head kick, go down, and either get submitted or TKO'd on the ground round 1. That's just what's going to happen. I think not a lot of people throw kicks to the head for Bobby Green. I think Terrence McKinney's going to do that. He's going to throw a head kick. You saw what happened the last time someone head kicked him. Roofy set up a beautiful head spinning wheel kick. And I'm not going to say it's the same level. It's going to be the same level knockout or something, but I think Terrence McKinney, who's going to be blitzing in, heavy hands, quick hands, super quick hands in round 1. He's going to be pop, 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 combinations, throw a head kick. Bobbert Green may lean into it, may duck into it, goes down, falls down over, gets TKO'd, submitted maybe. I could see if Terrence McKinney really wanted to, he could take Robert Green down and submit him. He has that kind of jiu-jitsu, that kind of grappling base. McKinney can very easily just take him down and submit him in round 1 easily. So I'm going to go with a McKinney round 1 finish. I am going to go with a submission just because I think it may be a little bit easier to take Green down and finish him. That head kick dream that I have is plausible, but I just think it's going to be a little bit easier. Take him down. You may do a combination while he's too busy trying to do head movement. You start doing like a 3-piece combination. On that 4th one, you feint it. Then you go for a level change. Take him down. Submit him. I'm going to go with Terrence McKinney rear naked choke in round 1. Again, it's just due. It's just due. You know, there's 3 things guaranteed in this world: death, taxes, and a Terrence McKinney KO in round 1 if he's coming off of 1 win or 2 losses. That's common knowledge. It's it's a law of the universe. I think it's scientifically proven that it's going to happen. Terrence McKinney, do this for me, pal. Come on. I know I picked Chris Duncan against Terrence McKinney. Picked Chris Duncan. I picked Terrence McKinney against Kyle Nelson. I have a 100% pick rate for Terrence McKinney and a 0% pick rate for Robert Green. So give me, you know. So basically, that percentage is either going to stay 100 or stay 0. You know what I'm saying? I'm risking it all. I could just say King Green will win this by styling on him, and he's going to be too defensively sound early, but he's not defensively sound. Drew Dober caught him. I know Drew Dober's given special powers. He gets like a +10 to his overall. When Drew Dober goes against certain people, he gets a +10 to his overall, and he's just a monster. He sees different. He fights different. But McKinney also gets like a +10 overall in the first minute. And Bobby Green is when he gets hit hard. He doesn't get hit too often, but when he does get hit, it's hard. He went to a close split decision with Lance Gibson Jr. too not too long ago. You KO'd Daniel Zellhuber. Congratulations, pal. Congratulations, Zellhuber sucks. He sucks. I don't know why I picked him to beat you. Gah! I hate that. So yeah, I'm gonna go with Terrence McKinney round 1 KO. All right, moving on. Brandon Royval, Lona Kavanagh. Because this one is actually, it's close, but it's not close. 17-9 to 10-1, 5'9 to 5'6, 68-inch reach to a 67-inch reach. Crazy reach. That's crazy. 38.5-inch leg reach to a 36.5-inch leg reach. Now, I will say, Royval does have a chance to win this. People are writing him off. I think Royval could win this, just implementing grappling, making Kavanagh work, and then he'll hit him. I could see Royval making this a grueling, cardio-heavy fight, and then him getting the better of it in round 3, late round 2, early round 3. But I think just that Moreno performance was so perfect, so amazing. That Moreno performance was incredible from Lona Kavanagh, from Lonnie. That was an incredible performance, and Royval went to a split decision with Moreno. He did. It's disappointing, and he got KO'd by Cap in the first. And if he drew Cap out like kind of like Horiguchi did, where he's taking Cap later rounds and he gets caught, I'd be a little bit more confident. But he got caught round 1. Got caught with his back against the fence. Got caught round 1. Something heavy. Dropped him down. Cap finished him. I don't know if Kavanagh finishes him round 1, I'll be impressed. I'm gonna go with the Kavanagh decision actually. I think Kavanagh's going to hit him with some big shots. He's going to keep it steady, I think after after going to a decision against Moreno at altitude, I'm very impressed with his cardio for that fight. Very, very impressed. And maybe it's just because he fought a little differently, but he went 5 rounds in Mexico City against Moreno. Schooled him. Absolutely schooled him. I think the same thing is going to happen for Royval. The only way I could see Royval winning this is if it was 5, and he'd really push a cardio pace on him, because Moreno didn't really do too much in that fight. He kind of was being very cautious, very slow, low output, and Kavanagh just hit him with some bigger shots, made him bleed, stuff like that. Again, like I said, Royval could do this. Maybe he'll just do a lot of grappling early. Again, Kavanagh did chuck off some takedowns from Moreno, but Moreno only shot a couple and then gave up. I think Royval would be like, all right, I got to get these takedowns. Because he is kind of chinny. is kind of chinny. At flyweight 2 is not a good idea. Not a good thing to be chinny at flyweight. So I'm going to go with Lona Kavanagh by decision. I am worried, though. I do think Brandon Royval can get this done, and I want Brandon Royval to win, because if Royval wins, just how good is Joshua Van? Just how good is Joshua Van, dude? Joshua Van beat this guy on a week's notice? How good is Joshua Van? By the way, still true. Week's notice, broken toe, still beats him. So if Lona Kavanagh beats him, not as impressive. Not as impressive. Manel Cap beat him with a boob. Steroids. So not as impressive. You know? I'm just going to trust Lona Kavanagh. I think he has decent takedown defense. I think that cardio that was shown, 5 rounds main event in Mexico City, I think that's at altitude. I'm pretty sure that's at altitude. And he just whoops up on Moreno. And he has basically the same reach. Basically the same reach as Royval. Now, maybe Royval will make it work, but you saw Joshua Van worked a pretty impressive game for having a reach disadvantage too. I think Joshua Van would silo on Kavanagh. I think he's a little bit better than Kavanagh, but I think Kavanagh's good too, dude. Kavanagh's very good. I think he'll make it work. I think he'll do some nasty stuff. I think he'll land big shots and just win rounds off of those big shots. Because Royval has no power. He has no power. He does. He's crafty with stuff. Maybe he'll have a nasty like step and elbow early, and then I'll cut Kavanagh, and then he'll kind of change. That's kind of the thing. Royval could change the outcome of this fight early by getting something like doing a crafty veteran thing, a crafty vet thing, which would be a step and elbow, getting a cut on the eye, changing the outcome of the fight early. That's kind of what needs to be done for him to win this 3-rounder, is in my opinion. But I don't know if he'd do that. I don't know if he'll do that, so I'm going to have to go with Lona Kavanagh. Decision win, okay? What is he? Minus 220, plus 180? Those are pretty fair odds. McKinney's the favorite. That's fair. Yeah. So I've only chosen, 2 underdogs? Yeah. Only 2 underdogs, but you know what? We're about to go for a third. Man, Sandhagen's not the underdog. Moving up, Corey Sandhagen, Mario Bautista. A lot of people, let me show you this. I'm not going to show you it. I'm going to tell you this. The amount of people picking, how many people are actually, I didn't check. A lot of people are picking McKinney. A lot of people are picking Kavanagh. Okay, more people are picking Sandhagen. I feel like just from the YouTuber scene, I've seen a lot more people pick Mario Bautista to win. I've seen a lot of YouTubers pick Bautista to beat Sandhagen. And I know Sandhagen or Bautista had that amazing performance against Umar, had that amazing performance against Vinicius Oliveira. But are we forgetting that he had a very lackluster striking match against Patchy Mix? Very lackluster. I know he beat him, but there were still some moments where, it was like, all right, this Patchy Mix is doing nothing at range, and Mario Batista is hitting him with a jab. And are we pretending that Mario Bautista did not go to a split decision with Jose Aldo, where he had to hold Aldo against the cage like a year ago? How long was that? That's probably still recently. Let's see. Jose Aldo, decision split 1 year, 8 months ago. Why are we pretending that Mario Bautista not just go to a split decision with Jose Aldo? I know Sandhagen almost got KO'd by Marab. He had a worse performance objectively against Umar. If you think about it, he had a worse performance against Umar. But just the Song Yadong fight and the Davison Figueiredo fight, I just think Sandhagen's very, very good. He's very dynamic. And if Mario Bautista was getting pieced up by Aldo, I know there was some moments where Bautista was landing on Aldo too, but realistically, he was getting pieced up by old man Aldo. I know it's still Aldo. He was still a very good striker, almost finished the hobby. Arguably beat him old man Aldo arguably beats Zahabi and Bautista, which is crazy. But the thing is, dude, that's old man Aldo. This is Corey Sandhagen. He's not his prime. He's not prime Sandhagen. He's 34. Batista's only 33 though. It's 18-6 versus 17-3, 5'11" to 5'9", 70-inch reach to a 72-inch reach, 40-inch leg reach to a 39-inch leg reach. I'm going to go with the Sandhagen decision. I think he's just going to pop him, stay at range. You know, this is a rematch. If you don't know, sorry, I ripped something. This is a rematch. If you don't know, Sandhagen flying kneed Mario Bautista and then armbarred him in the first round. I just don't see Mario Bautista being able to be that much different where he's just going to outpoint Sandhagen on the feet. I think Sandhagen's just better on the feet, better on the ground. Maybe Bautista has a little bit better scrambles. Better. That's why he was able to hang with Umar more, because Bautista can scramble better. But Sandhagen is not going to get absolutely demolished on the ground by Bautista. He's not going to get held up against the cage by Bautista. He's going to have answers if Bautista tries to hold him against the cage. I think Sandhagen game plans pretty well. If you watch the Merab fight, the first 2 or 3 rounds you think Sandhagen's about to absolutely demolish Merab. He's about to absolutely demolish Merab. It comes in with very good game plans, and I think Mario Bautista is just not that top next level where even if you game plan against him well, he'll be so good that the game plan doesn't work. That's what Umar was. That's what Merab was. You can game plan as much as you want. They're just so good. A game plan is not going to work. And even in the Umar fight that he lost was just very disappointing because he didn't really throw. He didn't throw. I think Sandhagen has a chip on his shoulder. He didn't get the O'Malley fight at the White House. He wanted it. He was wanting it very badly. They've given him O'Malley's teammate, Mario Bautista. I think he's going to try and get this win. It may be boring. I think Sandhagen's going to kind of stink it up on the back foot, just kind of make it a point fight. He's just going to win because Bautista doesn't have power. I know he dropped Umar because it was like a knee head kick kind of thing where Umar went into it. By the way, we're going to go over a head kick knee thing later on the main event. I just don't see him catching Sandhagen with anything. I don't think he can outpoint him. It's 3 rounds, which maybe a 5-rounder would work better in Sandhagen's favor. I think 3 rounds, Sandhagen can just kind of stay ahead, do a lot more work in 3 than Bautista can, and I'm just not too impressed. I know the Umar fight is like brainwashing people into thinking Mario Bautista is this next level guy. He is very good, but like I said, he was getting close split decision wins over Jose Aldo a year ago. I think Sandhagen would not style, but I think he'd easily beat Jose Aldo. The same Jose Aldo that fought Mario Bautista, I think Sandhagen would beat that Jose Aldo with better grappling. He'd beat him a lot more dominantly than Bautista did. So I'm going to go with Sandhagen to win this by decision. I think a lot of people are overhyped on Bautista. I think he is very good. I just think Sandhagen just has kind of the style to beat him, where he's just going to be too calm. He's too dynamic too. Too dynamic, so it's going to be harder for him to close in. And then if you're just going to jab at range with Sandhagen, he's going to beat you with low kicks, switching stances, trying to making it difficult to really land on him. I think Sandhagen has this in the bag. I'm going to go with a Sandhagen decision. Boring, but I think he'll get it done by decision. All right, moving on. Co-main event. Benoit Saint-Denis versus Paddy Pimblett. All right, Paddy Pimblett versus Benoit Saint-Denis. 17-3-1 versus 23-4, 5'11 to 5'10, 73-inch reach to a 73-inch reach, and a 40-inch leg reach to a 40-inch leg reach. I'm going with the underdog. I'm going with Paddy Pimblett. I was saying this earlier. I don't know if I've ever said this on camera. I was saying this when it got announced, though. I'm pretty sure. I think Pimblett can do this because I don't think Benoit Saint-Denis would survive 5 rounds on the feet with Justin Gaethje. He couldn't survive 3 rounds on the feet with Dustin Poirier. I know he had staph then. Apparently he has staph again. Staph does not make or break a fighter. A lot of fighters have had staph and still performed pretty well. Apparently Strickland had staph against Chimaev or whatever. I don't know. I forgot who had staph recently that still performed well. It's just the medicine that you take to combat the staph that makes you, really bad. By the way, this is not. There we go. Sorry. Do we want more banjo? We could have just a banjo. This could be Banjo MMA. That was one of the, just a little sneak peek. That was one of my early names that I was thinking of doing. Banjo MMA. I'm not good enough on the banjo to get away with that. If I was good on the banjo, maybe I would have done Banjo MMA. But I'm not. I kind of suck at the banjo. I tried. Listen, these don't work. Anyways, never mind. Paddy Pimblett. I just think is very durable. You saw it. He took some crazy shots off of Justin Gaethje. Got eye poked. Still hung in there. Had some moments. And Benoit Saint Denis, I picked Dan Hooker to beat Benoit Saint Denis, and he almost did it. If Dan Hooker didn't shoot in on a takedown and took Benoit Saint Denis himself down for some stupid reason, like an idiot, because Dan Hooker's an idiot, Dan Hooker probably could have beaten Benoit Saint Denis. He could have. Benoit Saint Denis was getting hit with those kicks to the body, getting push kicked away, being very sloppy, very slow. Benoit Saint Denis is just so slow. I think Pimblett, who can latch up submissions quick, who is decently quick, decently smart on the feet, is kind of dynamic. If you think about it, he is very dynamic, you know. Against Justin Gaethje, he was kind of stuck, and he is stupid. These guys are both stupid. Benoit Saint Denis game plan's a little bit better. You know, the Roofy win was impressive, but that was Roofy with the fighting nerves where he was kind of like, he was high on his own supply. You know, he was like, I'm Mauricio Roofy. I don't got to train grappling. I'll knock this guy out. Ever since then, you've seen Mauricio Roofy's kind of taken a step back, acknowledged that he needs to work on himself, and moved camps, changed camps. Literally reinvented himself, and now he looks amazing. So I do think if they were to rematch, I think Roofy would beat Benoit Saint Denis. I'm being honest. I think if Benoit Saint Denis and Mauricio Roofy were to rematch, I think Roofy would KO Benoit Saint Denis because he's so slow. He is very slow. His takedowns, very slow takedowns. I could see Pimblett latching up honestly, flying triangle. Paddy Pimblett win. Flying triangle. No, I'm joking. But again, Pimblett can time things pretty well. He's got pretty good timing. The Chandler fight, you know, I know it's Chandler, but he had some pretty good timing. He does throw punches with his wrist, which scares me. I think Benoit Saint Denis, a little chinny, doesn't move his head, kind of Justin Gaethje-esque in terms of striking defense. He's going to take some shots, and he doesn't have as good of a chin as Gaethje. He does not have good of a chin. The Muppet Man himself, Benoit Saint Denis, can get dropped by Dustin Poirier, old man Dustin Poirier, and finished. I know he got flatline KO'd by Dustin Poirier. Flatline KO'd. Not just, he got hit, he went down, and Dustin did some follow-up. He got flatline KO'd by Dustin Poirier. Old man Poirier got KO'd, flatlined. I think Pimblett, who had a decent showing against Gaethje in hindsight, is going to be a lot more damaging, have some decent power in his punches, knees to the body, jumping knees, stuff like that, while Benoit Saint Denis crashing in to get these takedowns, where Pimblett's also dangerous on his back. I think Pimblett can get this done with a round 2 finish. I think Pimblett's going to finish him in round 2. I think round 1, maybe Benoit Saint Denis, he's so slow too, but I think Pimblett's also slow in round 1. I think round 1, Pimblett's kind of waking up still from being fat, so he's just kind of like, whoa, I'm not fat right now? Okay, let me get my mojo on. And then round 2, he starts doing some stuff. I just think Pimblett's going to wake up in round 2, hit him with something big, submit him, or finish him. I think that's just going to happen. Benoit Saint Denis has not impressed me. The Dan Hooker performance was awful. He got taken down and mauled by Moicano. He got KO'd by Dustin. And I'm not saying Pimblett has the same kind of skill level as Dustin or Moicano in those fights, but I think he's similar enough. He has better submission ability than Moicano. Moicano has better wrestling and better control, and better ground and pound. But Pimblett, I feel like, has better submission game. He's faster getting those submissions locked up. And Dustin's got more power. He's a lot of a better boxer, but Pimblett's got power too. He's big, you know. I just think Benoit Saint Denis has been kind of not lazing about, but he's been kind of been slow. You know, who did he fight? Kyle Prepelec, I want to say, his last couple wins, or what? Kyle Prepelec, Beneil Dariush, is that it? Kyle Prepelec, Mauricio Roofy is good, Beneil Dariush, and then Dan Hooker. I think Pimblett would beat Beneil Dariush. I think Pimblett would beat Kyle Prepelec. I think Pimblett would beat Dan Hooker. Maybe not. Dan Hooker's hard to say. See, look, Dan Hooker's hard to say. He's weird, Dan Hooker, to predict. Like I said, he could have beat Dan Hooker could have beat Benoit Saint Denis. He was just an idiot and reshot it on a takedown when he had stuffed Benoit Saint Denis. He got stuffed. He stuffed one of Benoit Saint Denis' takedowns and then shot in on his own. Got ground and pound TKO'd. I think Pimblett's just a little bit better, a little bit more physical, has more power. You know, I am scared Benoit Saint Denis can land some nasty head kicks, some nasty hooks on while you're leaving the pocket. But Pimblett just has a chin, dude. He has a chin. like Topuria got whooped, and Pimblett got whooped, and Pimblett was getting whooped for 5 rounds, still was there. I honestly think, and his gas tank was incredible against Gaethje. He was pushing the pace against Gaethje. Honestly, he could have gone 10 rounds against Justin Gaethje now, and he could have taken the same beating for 10 rounds and still be up, in my opinion. He was getting dropped a lot, I know. One was an eye poke drop. But still, I think he's just pretty durable. And Benoit Denis is just not as durable, I don't think. He did take a flying knee from Mauricio Rufy, I will say. I don't know how flush it was. Just from the looks of it, it looked like a pretty solid flying knee. Got hit by that. No reaction. So maybe just he has a new chin. Maybe he unlocked a new chin. He leveled up and he put all of his points into chin. I don't think so. I just think Pimblett's going to just be able to out-grit him, out-tough him. You know, I think getting fat and then getting skinny actually helps because his body's like, I'm still fat. I still got blubber. I'm still going to go. And when really he's skinny, it's genius, dude. It's genius. So I'm going to go with Paddy Pimblett by round 2 submission or round 2 KO. But round 2 finish, I think, what do I have on Tapology? Round 2 submission. So I'm going to go with Paddy Pimblett round 2 submission. All right. Moving up to the main event. It's Conor McGregor, Max Holloway time. It's Conor. And by the way, if McGregor pulls out, we're getting Max. Oh, this is at welterweight though, huh? This is at welterweight. Do they have another? They don't have another welterweight fight. So if McGregor pulls out last minute, we can't replace this. Wow. Unless they just have Paddy or Benoit Denis bulk up real quick to welterweight, but that's a lot. That's a big bulk up. So this is it. 22-6. 22-6 to 27-9, 5'9 to 5'11, 74-inch reach to a 69-inch reach, T-Rex arms Holloway, 40-inch leg reach to a 42-inch leg reach. I think people are a little hypnotized by this being the year of the underdogs that they're picking McGregor. Too many people are picking McGregor. Plus 170 for McGregor. Too many people are picking McGregor. They're saying Max Holloway's washed because he lost to Charles Oliveira. You heard that right. He lost to Charles Oliveira. And because he lost to Charles Oliveira, he's now washed. When he beat Justin Gaethje, schooled Justin Gaethje on the feet, flat like KO'd him at the end of the 5th. 3 fights ago? 4 fights ago? Because it was Charles, Dustin, Ilya, Gaethje. 4 fights ago, he schooled Gaethje and KO'd him. He's fought Yair Rodriguez, won a decision against Yair Rodriguez. Fought Arnold Allen, won a decision against Arnold Allen. Calvin Kattar, Brian Ortega. Lost to Volk, but had some close fights with Volk. Had a decently close fight with Ilya where he just doesn't have the power to make Ilya pay for being out of place. For being honest, if Max Holloway had power, he probably would have beaten Ilya. If he just had, like, maybe even his lightweight power. Maybe at lightweight, if they never fought and they did Ilya Holloway at lightweight, he probably would have beaten Ilya. If I'm being honest. I just think McGregor, coming off a 5-year layoff, he's a lot more boxing heavy now. He's not going to throw kicks because he's scared of his leg. It has a metal rod in it. He's going to be a lot more standstill. He's going to be having octagon cage ring rust. That's what it's called, ring rust. Where Holloway's just been in there with some top-level people. Dustin, Oliveira, Topuria, Gaethje. He's just been in there with. Now, it is at welterweight, but again, McGregor does not have the touch of death. Max Holloway got hit with some crazy shots by Charles Oliveira in that last fight. Look back at it. Look at the striking highlights. It's all Max Holloway getting hit with a knee that was supposed to be a head kick. He crashed in, so it became a knee to the head, and Holloway takes it. The last 10 seconds of the point down, he gets hit with a mean right hand from Charles Oliveira. From Charlie, from Du Bronx. Takes that, eats that, answers one with his own back. I think Oliveira at lightweight's going to hit a lot more than McGregor at welterweight. He would hurt a lot more. And Holloway just took all that he had. Didn't get wobbled. Maybe a little wobbled. He kind of got stumbled, but didn't get dropped. I know we got dropped against Dustin. I think he got dropped against Justin. I think the Justin one was more of a slip, if I'm being honest. And the Dustin one, fluke. It was a fluke. I just don't think a McGregor who's coming off a 5-year layoff, who's been doing Nothing except drugs and alcohol and getting in trouble and being not the best he could. I don't think this McGregor's going to come back and KO Holloway in the first or second, which is what he needs to do. He needs a first round or second round KO. He just needs it. That's what he needs. He's not going to get it. He's not going to get that. I think Holloway's going to just be on him, keep calm, keep pressure, some oblique kicks, spinning back kicks to the body and stuff like that. I think that's really going to hurt with McGregor. Because if you think about it, who's the most dynamic striker that McGregor's fought? Aldo? Chad Mendez? Like, if you really think about it, Dustin, if you really think about it, but even then, Dustin's not dynamic. He's just a very good boxer. Who is the most dynamic person that McGregor's fought who's going to throw in kicks, throw in spinning back kicks, throwing body kicks, stuff like that where it's just dynamic and it's everywhere? No one. Besides early doors of Max Holloway where he had to take him down a bunch. I know he broke his hand. Still, I think that Holloway's the most dynamic person McGregor's ever gone against, who will throw dynamic stuff, stomp the lead leg a lot. I think he's going to employ that same strat that he did against Ilya. He'll stomp that lead leg. He'll leave it out there and pull it back and be parrying with that lead hand a lot. And I just don't think McGregor, who is very good at countering and reading, and may just, I'm sorry if I'm destroying ears. I'm gonna have to listen to this back and hope I didn't. He's very good at countering all that stuff. I just don't think he has it anymore. I don't know if he has that same kind of motor skills, that motor function, where he can just pull back slightly out of the way and answer back with that 1-2-3 or that 3-2-3. I think Holloway, who also is very good at reading, his combination boxing is crazy. He's very good at reading on the fly. I just don't know if McGregor can do the same as what he's done. A lot of spotlight on him. This is a way to clear his name. If he wins this, they're going to give him the title shot against Justin Gaethje. They just will. It's Conor McGregor. They'll do whatever they want with Conor McGregor. They will honestly give him the title shot against Justin if he beats Max Holloway. But he won't. He won't. This is an underdog story that won't play through because McGregor's just not that guy. He's not been in this game. He's not as his life hasn't revolved around being an MMA fighter, being a champion, as it has for Max Holloway. Max Holloway has dreams of being the lightweight champion, being a double champ, cementing legacy. If Max Holloway becomes a lightweight champion, he's one of the greatest fighters of all time. One of them. He's top 15, top 10, no doubt. I just don't think McGregor has it in him. I just don't think. Holloway's taken, like I said, mean shots from Oliveira. Didn't drop him. I think he's going to be dynamic. And McGregor just does not have that power at welterweight. He does not have that touch of death to put him away in the first second, which is what he needs. I think Holloway's going to volume him up a bunch. He wasn't able to KO Dustin, but I think Dustin, who was still in the game at the time, is a lot more durable than McGregor, who has been away. I think Holloway's going to get around 4 or 5 TKO, honestly. Round 4, round 5, McGregor's feeling himself. He gets out of that first 2 rounds and he has nothing left. I feel like at some point McGregor's going to have nothing left and he's going to have Max Holloway in front of him, teeing off on him, hitting him hard. I could see a round 3 TKO for Max Holloway. I could see it. Again, this is at welterweight. Maybe it was a little too soon and Max Holloway hasn't bulked up properly. But if Max Holloway didn't bulk up properly, the only thing that's going to happen is he's going to be slower and he's going to have a better chin. That's normally what happens. You saw it against the Dustin fight. He didn't have like the craziest chin. He did get dropped at some point, and the cage saved him. What if he grew around? What if his wings grew out and he flew around? Love that interview. I just feel like if he doesn't bulk up properly, he's not going to be super chinny. He's just going to be slow. You know, you saw it with Alex Pereira. Alex Pereira's always been a little chinny, just a little. Where he's just slow. And if Max Holloway is slow, it's going to matter for the first 2 rounds. But I could see Max Holloway not really wanting to engage with Conor McGregor too much. He may not throw punches too much. Maybe it'll all be low kicks and body kicks and spinning back kicks, and maybe even a wheel kick every now and then just to set a standard for the first 2 rounds, just to keep McGregor on edge, not let him really counter off of anything. I could see that happening. So I'm just going to have to go with the Max Holloway round 3, 4, or 5 KO. I know that's broad. I'm going to go with round 4, setting in stone round 4, but I would not be surprised if it's around 3 or 5 TKO for Max Holloway. I just don't think has it anymore. Middle leg, broken leg. Holloway stomping on that lead leg. He'll switch stances. He'll stop on that other lead leg. I just don't think McGregor has the touch of death that he needs to beat Max Holloway. I'm sorry. Anyways, hope y'all enjoyed. Hour-long video. We're back at it. I know I said I'm not making feature-length films anymore, but it's the McGregor card. How do you not make an hour-long video for Conor McGregor's return fight, you know? And, I hate not picking him, but I just can't. I also like Holloway better. And I think if Holloway beats McGregor, you do Holloway Gaethje, too, for the lightweight belt. Unbiasedly, you do Holloway Gaethje, too. Anyways, hope y'all enjoyed. Don't be funny. Make some money. Buy the numbers. Peace out. And likes and subscribes, dude. Give them like and subscribe. Oh. Use this hand. Like and subscribe, dude. Come on, give it over. Hand it over, pal. Anyways, we'll say it one more time. Don't be funny. Make some money. Buy the numbers. Peace out.